Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Brian from Bearable Traders here. It is Sunday evening, April 25th, and of course, Sunday evenings are when we take a look at the past week, see how things went, and then we try to take a look ahead and see where things are going in the coming weeks, see what opportunities are out there. So, as you know, or probably know, we've got about 9 trillion or just over 9 trillion in market cap. Companies reporting this week. We'll go through those in a minute, but obviously lots of biggies on deck here for next week. So it should be quite an interesting week. So let's deep dive and see where things could be going. Okay, before we get going here, this is my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade. If you haven't checked it out, there it is, shameless plug. And now let's deep dive into the markets, take a look at what happened last week and where we are probably going next week. And as usual, we like to start out with the TLT, with the bonds, because that seems to be where a lot of interest is from some of the traders, investors. Everyone's watching those yields and inflation. So you can see here, this week was a pretty kind of choppy week. We did sell off a little bit on Monday, but then we came back and ended the week kind of flat on the bond prices. That means the yields didn't move much, or maybe rolled over a little bit. Let's take a look here. Here's the yields on the 10-year, and you can see we went up and challenged this 1.8 level. Didn't quite get through it. Kind of a double top, and now we're pulling back here. There's mixed feelings or mixed opinions on where this is going. Obviously, we could continue to chop sideways at this level, or this could just be an ABCD pattern, and we may just be doing a bit of a consolidation after getting really overbought here on the yields, overextended on the yields, and now we're just doing a little bit of consolidation, pulling back here to getting closer to these moving averages, which are still trending up here. So we could be looking at a continuation move on the yields, depending on what inflation numbers keep coming out. And as we all know, there's a lot of commodities that have been going up in price. Lumber, everyone's talking about ag prices, all those commodities. And here we go. Let's take a look at the transports. Of course, we had a really good day on Friday, again breaking out to a pretty much an all-time high here. On the week, again, you can see all-time high, up 1.4%. So transports continue to confirm that we are definitely in an uptrend. And you can see here volume kept building. We are pretty overbought here, but that doesn't necessarily mean we can't just continue to go higher. It just means momentum is continuing to the upside. On the Dow, of course, we had a bit of a choppy week overall. And you're going to see that for most of the indexes except for IWM, which managed to eke out a gain. So let's take a look here on the day. You can see the daily. We just basically down, up, just chopping sideways. And on the week, of course, we finished down a little on the week, a little less than 0.5% down on the week. Again, we were really overbought here. You can see RSI overbought, stochastics really overbought. So not surprising. We just got a bit of a pullback. That's really nothing more than a bit of a correction. Same comment for the Qs, chop. Again, down on the week, about 0.76%. Again, volume kind of light compared to the last couple weeks in March, weeks in March. The SPY, again, chop. A little bit more volume. Again, really overbought. Coming back into a more reasonable range here. And we'll see where things go from here. But, we're putting in what looks like a bit of a topping pattern right now, or at least a consolidation pattern. And on the weekly, of course, down just a fraction on the week. So the IWM was the one that actually stood out to me as being the one that had the best performance, obviously. Up 1.9%, pretty close on the day on Friday. We had we had a little bit more volume coming in this week. You can see the volume there. And you can see on a weekly, we actually finished up on the week, almost 0.5%. So of all the indexes, the IWM actually had the best performance. And I'm expecting the IWM to continue to move higher. It is probably one of the only indexes that isn't back up at its at its all-time high, and it looks poised to maybe follow through here in the coming week. But as you know, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe here this week with all the earnings, so who knows? That may affect where money flows. And you can see here the dollar just got hammered again on Friday. This looked like it might be putting in a bit of a bottom here, but really it was just a ABCD pattern, and it looks like the dollar may be actually heading lower. And of course, if interest rates head lower, then the dollar is going to continue to weaken here. But it's really oversold right now if you look at the stochastics. Not so much on the RSI yet, but getting there. And Bitcoin's had a pretty rough couple of weeks here, as you can see. Anybody's invested in Bitcoin, and I only have a tiny bit of Bitcoin cash. I'm just sitting on. I don't really have any plans for it. But you can see here we are trying to hold a prior level here. Bitcoin does trade fairly technically, so here is a pretty significant level. You can see here this was resistance, this was support. And so we've come down, we've tested that 47.50 level, and we're trying to bounce off it now. But if we can't hold here, I would say, 46,000, this area here could be an area where it might end up going, and then maybe even down, if it can't hold there, even 40,000 could be, could be a possibility for a pullback here on Bitcoin. But for the time being, it looks like it's bouncing, and we'll see where it goes from here. So, quick look at earnings, what we got coming up this week, just real quickly. Tesla's a big one, obviously. AMD, Microsoft, Alphabet, Facebook, Apple, Wednesday. Amazon Thursday with Neo, and of course Caterpillar. And you've got a couple of the oil companies in there, Exxon, Chevron, BP. So lots of earnings coming up this week. As I said, about $9.5 trillion in market cap, all coming down the pipe this week. So that could be just a market mover in itself. So some of the stocks I've got on watch this week, apart from all the ones that are going to be having earnings, we'll be watching those. But in DBD, I like this one. It came up on a scan of Bollinger Band squeeze, and you can see here it's kind of looking like it might break out. I'd be looking for a close above this 50 moving average for a long, and then hopefully a break back up to 17. The stochastics, the RSI all look pretty good on it. MACD, histogram starting to slope up. So I'm liking that one for a long. Dkng I'm keeping an eye on. As I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, I already did do a short on it and covered it, but it does look like it's right at this neckline here. This is the shoulder head, and the other side of the shoulder, right shoulder, it's really flirting with this neckline here, where there's major support right at 58. So again, if it can lose 58, again I'll look to short it, and yeah, it could be down to maybe into the 55 range, or even down to this 50 level if we get down to the 200-day moving average. FCell is a stock I've already taken a position in. Mentioned that in the trading room late in the week, and I'm going to talk a lot about these alternative energy plays, which look like they've all sort of been putting in a bottom and maybe going to start to bounce back again. You can see here RSI is turning back up. We've got recaptured the 200-day moving average. Stochastics put in a bottom here, and now they're turning up. So liking the look of FCell here. There's a big volume shelf here. So if we can get through there, that'll be, I think we'll have a pretty decent run, maybe up to possibly 14 on this one for a partial, and then hold for the rest. FFBC, again, nice day on Friday, Bollinger Band squeeze. You can see here volume really came in on it. Again, pretty oversold, and now it's bouncing back. So I'm looking for this one for a continuation move. If we can get that. Gold, I'm still keeping an eye on with the weak dollar, and I've already in some here, and we've had a nice breakout, nice run. I think gold is continuing to look interesting. Looks like it's going higher. These pullback days have been sort of lighter volume. We got pretty overbought here, so not surprised we're getting a bit of a pullback. But I'm really liking gold for a continuation move higher. Biotechs I'm still keeping an eye on. Looks like if we can get above 80 here on LABU, or if you want to play XBI, that's another one for biotechs. Here's LAC. This is a Lithium Americas. Again, this is kind of along the same theme as the F-cell plug alternative energy plays. Again, looking like it's putting in a bit of a bottom here. Held the 200-day moving average, and already taken a position in this as well. You can see stochastics turning up, RSI turning up. Bit of an invert head and shoulders there on RSI, so liking LAC for a move higher. And again, lithium very important in batteries, and with all the electric cars that are going to be coming online here in the next 5 to 10 years, lithium's going to be pretty important. Again, here's plug, sort of same story as lithium and F-cell. Again, these are starting to look like they're starting to gain some interest, although plug has not broken this trend line. I just drew this in here. So if it can break through this trend line, I'd be looking for a long. Volume not great on Friday, but stochastics are turning up. Same with RSI. Again, some of these starting to look interesting. Here's another one that's sort of confirming this move, TAN, which is the ETF for the solar space. You can see here we're getting some nice moves. Maybe it's this infrastructure talk, the Green Deal, that kind of stuff. But it seems to be finding some interest. TIGR, I like this one. This was from last week. I still haven't got a position in it, but I'm looking at it pretty hard for Monday. We had some good volume days, Thursday, Friday. Nice tick back up on the stochastics. RSI looking good. I think this one's definitely looking good for a move higher here. Really liking this chart. Love the way it just it broke out and held above this sort of level that's been acting as resistance. So TIGR looking good. USO, the dollar, or the oil, looking to see if as long as it holds these moving averages. And X looks like it's breaking out again. Been playing X for a while, played it back here, traded once or twice in it here, and now it's moving back up again. And you can see here again, infrastructure play. Yeah, the stochastics turning up, RSI turning up. This looks good as well. So that's it. So we'll finish off the session with just looking at the futures where we are right now. You can see here the Dow is pretty much flat. Same with the S&P 500, flat. NASDAQ, flat. And the Russell, the Mini, the small caps, they're in the green, but again, essentially not making any headway one way or another. But this is the index that I think has the most potential to run next week. But as I said before, the earnings that come out, a lot of tech companies in there, so it'll be interesting to see how and what they report, what kind of guidance they give, more importantly, and then how the market reacts to it. Because you saw what happened with Snap. Snap reported some good numbers, gapped up, just sold off completely during the day, and then came bouncing back. So it was kind of a strange day, and we'll see if we get more of that kind of strange price action when companies report good numbers, and maybe a lot of people feel like the numbers are already baked in and sell the news event. So we'll see what happens here. And as far as the commodities go, you can see oil down a little bit, nat gas down a bit, gold kind of flat. And on the treasury side of things, everything again kind of flat, 30 years up a little bit, or down a little bit, I should say. And that's about it. So I hope everyone's had a good weekend. And as you know, we will be starting out tomorrow morning live on YouTube. Jared will be doing Engineering the Markets at 8 o'clock. 8:30 pre-market show with Norm and Carlos, going through the movers and shakers, things that are happening for the market open, building a watch list, and then finally we'll be trading the market open at 9:30. And if you'd like this video, appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. So have a great rest of the evening, everybody, and we'll hopefully see you in the morning. Bye for now.